Isn't he just fantastic? Now, my theory, oh, this is also interesting, is that he's eating poison, of course. Poison, you say? How could he be eating poison? Surely he's not trying to do himself harm. No, he's not. He's one of the few creatures that can eat the tambuti tree. That's what he's eating there. And in fact, I think that Tandi was found in amongst a tambuti grove earlier today. They don't eat the trees, of course, but they are excellent they form these monospecific groves where leopards love to spend their time. Beautiful dappled light underneath them, which are perfect for leopards to move in. And Julie, you say, thank you, this light and this animal are beautiful. Both absolutely combining to make a perfect Monday afternoon surprise for us. And I second to Sunday afternoons. Monday afternoons on walking safari are my second favourite because, of course, so many people around the world, or certainly in my own country, in this time zone, are sitting in the traffic right now after a hard day at the office. And here I am, standing in the golden light of the setting African sun, looking at a giraffe. How marvellous is that? Now Daniel, you perhaps a new viewer, and you say, why are there birds on the giraffe? Well, those birds are known as oxpeckers, Daniel, and oxpeckers are devourers of ticks and other ectoparasites. So things that like to suck the giraffe's blood are eaten by the oxpeckers. And that is not because oxpeckers are necessarily desirous of eating ticks. They actually prefer blood. They're called sanguinivores. How's that? Sanguinivores. A little bit like vampires. And it is apparently said that there's very little evidence that the eating and clearing or eating of ticks off these animals does anything for the actual parasite load. So they carry such a vast parasite load that while the oxpeckers certainly don't do any harm most of the time, they don't necessarily reduce the amount of disease passed on to the animals by the ectoparasites, most of which they have a very good resistance to anyway. Alrighty, I have some rather distressing news that I'm going to let Noel tell you right now. Thandi seems to be heading north.
Alright everyone, she's heading north over the boundary, but she does not have the cub with her. She's left the cub. So, that is good news. The only thing that's distressing about this is that if she makes a kill inside of here, then she'll probably go fetch the cub and then be in there. But that being said, Tandi knows best what she needs and where she needs to go and what she wants to do and how she's going to function as a mum and with her area. Now, earlier we were talking about her functioning within her core territory. It feels as if that she's now pushing the edges of that territory with the cub just a little bit, and that's okay. I don't think she's going to spend too long inside of Biffleshoek, but I do think that she's just trying to sort of redo where she is to keep her cub safe. Now, she's heading east again. So she didn't go far into Biffleshoek. She's just maybe 80, 100 meters in. So it's possible she's just smelling and investigating. This isn't far from where we had... Sorry, I've got a shongololo on my dashboard. We're not going to go to it now, but I'll keep it here for you. Don't know where it came from. So I'm going to stay sort of parallel with her as much as possible. This is where we had tracks for a male leopard the other day that we thought was Tingana, but it wasn't Tingana, it was someone else. Here's my shongololo friend. I'm assuming he got knocked off of a branch of one of the trees. So he's probably rather confused about what's happening right now. Now, let me just see if I can find a gap so that we can look. And if she's just gonna walk parallel with the road here inside of the block, it's really not a train smash. She might just come back in. There, she's on top of that tree, that dead log there. There we go. Perfect. She could just be investigating. Also, she's left her cub and she can smell where that other male was. I was chatting with Tristan about it, and Tristan was saying could be Djuma, could be a couple other males. He's not 100% sure. I'm going to laugh if she takes a nap here. Nope, she's going to scratch, put her scent on there. That's good. Just having a look around. She'll probably hunt a little bit tonight. But I think we should cross fingers and hold thumbs that whatever she does, we're able to find her in the morning and enjoy her in the morning, and if not in the morning, then tomorrow afternoon, although I think tomorrow morning is probably preferred. I'm going to just roll back a little. Paula, you'd like to know what is the normal heart rate and respiratory rate of a leopard? Paula, I have no idea. Interesting question. I'm sure it can be Googled somehow, but yeah, I have no idea. Oh, Vildy's my Google. Vildy says 100. Aren't we 120 beats? Humans? Are we slower? Vildy says 120 beats a minute. Vildy, how do you have that information in your head? Were you counting them? Well, I don't know if you guys can hear Vildy. Vildy saying on Karula, Tandi's mom, you could see the heart so close to the skin at one point that he was counting the beats. Vildy, that's very interesting. Vildy's a treasure trove of information. He's like the MacGyver of Safari Live. I was watching him fix a computer the other day, and I was in awe of what he was able to do. And now he's got information like 120 beats a minute. Thanks, Vildy. Alright, everybody, it looks like she's gone just down here a little bit. So I'm not able to quite see her at the moment. So I think let's head on up to Rolf, who's driving around the Masai Mara, see what he's up to.
Well, everyone, we're doing something quite similar to what Noel's doing, except we don't have something to follow. We're just working our way through the areas where the Olololo lion pride have been hanging around. No clues yet. I haven't seen any tracks. I haven't seen any other animals like vultures or marabou storks or anything around. If they had a kill, you know, that would be obviously the kind of little clues that we look for. So at the moment I'm just going into the general areas that they have been seen and in their territory. But with this long grass, sometimes if they're lying down flat, we could drive right past them, even right next to the road, and we wouldn't see them. So all we've got to do is just be persistent and continue on trying to find them in all the usual spots. But now we've also got some very big clouds that are building, so there is potential there might be a little bit of a storm tonight. I thought I saw a little bit of lightning over there a little bit earlier, so there was a bit of a flash of light, so it might get interesting a little bit later. These clouds have built up nicely. It is, however, not very cold. It's nice and cool now, as it's been the last few nights. But not very hot, not very cold, so very comfortable. And we are heading slowly up towards the Olololo escarpment, hence the name of the Olololo pride of lions. And I am really hoping that I can find them so that we'll have them for tomorrow morning, that Taylor can hang with them from early hours of the morning. That's the idea, but if I can't find them, well, the relief crew is going to have to continue and see if they can find anything. Now Rictus, you want me to find you a big male lion. Rictus, I really would like to find one for you. I will try my best, but you know, sometimes it's just the way it works. You're just unlucky. Some days you can really have a red letter day and you find all sorts. I mean, that was like the other day when I saw that what was it, a serval, and literally straight after that we had the 4-meter rock python, and then we had the lions. I think they were hunting, and wow, that was just crazy. Today's been a little bit quiet for me, but you never get downhearted, because that's the way it works. As I say, you're driving along like this, and literally behind us a leopard could walk out of the grass and you've missed it just by 3 seconds. So you've just got to keep your eyes open, keep looking around, keep positive and be persistent. That's all it is. Like I always say as well, if you don't have a line in the water, you're not going to catch a fish. So we're putting ourselves out there, and we're doing the best we can, and let's just hope that we see a pair of ears or a little tail flicking through the grass. And I'm heading up to the area where there's that little quarry with a shepherd's tree next to it. Area, hopefully we find those lions. But while I do that, let's head you on down south to South Africa. My good friend Scott is he's also driving, not sure what he's looking for though. Let's head off to him.
So we are still trying to find any signs of this male leopard. I've done a big loop around into the kind of general direction he was heading along, and there's a major game trail that comes from that area where we last had his tracks to where we are now, but there's no immediate sign of him coming out here. It becomes difficult to catch any fish. Our lines are certainly in the water, and we'll tell. Now there is a chance that it's not the Hukumuri male, the imposter. It could be a youngster, possibly Tumba. Tumba's moved through this area not so long ago. He seems to be spreading far and wide. He's 3 years old, and he'll be flying below the radar of the bigger males, but just kind of searching and exploring and working out where he is eventually going to end up. It could be a long, long way from here, because he'll only probably start competing with other males in a couple of years when he's a bit bigger. Come on, where are the tracks? Now, we haven't seen the Hukumuri male come as far as this road, as far as we're aware. It's not to say that he hasn't. Tristan's actually been the one to spend the most time with him. Tristan's done a great job in being able to track him down on a number of events, and it's usually further away to our west from where we are here. Now, Anna, if you are still watching, apologies, my brain was not working very well when you were with me a little bit here, and I didn't do the best job answering your question on leopards and leucism. As far as I'm aware, it's more common to find melanistic leopards, which are the black versions, opposed to the paler, whiter versions, the leucistic version. But that could just be my lack of knowledge on the topic. The last leucistic leopard I've heard of was somewhere on the Botswana and South African border, kind of to the north and west of where we are here. And they had quite a few sightings of it at, I can't even remember what the camp was called, but there's none around that I know of. I've actually seen one before. Sadly, it had been mounted. Apparently it had been run over. It was a leopard that was living outside of a reserve, just kind of flying below the radar in and amongst human kind of farms and kind of the countryside in an area called Urigstad, which isn't too far from here, probably about 250 kilometers away from here. And I walked into this furniture store which had these beautiful big wooden tables, which caught my attention, and all of a sudden I saw a leucistic leopard in the corner. So I went and asked the guy, where on earth did they find this thing? And he said that it had been run over, interestingly enough, and subsequently mounted. So that's the only one I've seen in real life. And I'm not too sure of any kind of areas where they may be more prolific than others. You know, with the white lions that you get in Africa, there's only very few places where they've been seen. Generally the Timbavati to the north of us, and on that same latitude running east all the way to the Nwanetsi concession in the Kruger National Park, where there's currently one, possibly two white lions within a pride of lions there. With leopards and melanistic leopards, they are quite well spread out. There's one that's been seen quite regularly in India, lots of photographs taken of him. So there's one up there at the moment that's being seen quite a bit. There's quite a few up in Kenya that get seen in various places up there, but I haven't heard any reports recently of any leucistic leopards. Okay, well, we're going to keep scratching about here, and hopefully this male leopard pokes his head up. Tristan says that he likes to lie up on termite mounds. He's quite often found him up on those vantage points. So I'll be scanning those, and we'll be sending you across to James Hendry, who I think could be...
I'm lying on the ground. I do not like to lie on termites. Sitting here with the plant that keeps on giving, that is of course Waltheria indica, and it has given us further. And while Senzo tries to get us a picture of these eggs that have hatched, almost certainly caterpillar eggs, in fact I'll pick them, and almost certainly an Acria butterfly's eggs. There they are there. And you see them, Senzo? Can you see them now? I will tell you that I have never seen a leucistic leopard, nor have I seen a leucistic. I've seen a semi-leucistic lion, which of course would be a white lion, but they're not a hugely... I tell you, I'm fascinated how interested people are in different coloured variations of animals. And everyone asks at one time, or many people ask at one time or another, have you seen a melanistic or leucistic leopard, elephant, lion, anything? The colour variations absolutely fascinate people, and to the extent that it created this enormous boon in South Africa of rare game breeding. So everybody was breeding black impala and golden wildebeest, and what else did we have? White springbok, and all sorts of weird and wonderful variations, completely natural variations, but selectively bred. And eventually, of course, that boom has, in fact, very recently popped. It was a market that had no real basis other than for sale to the sort of smaller hunting operations, and that market has thankfully, I think, popped. And so now these strange, weird and wonderful variations of antelope and various other creatures seems to have reduced, which is, I think, quite a good thing. You've seen the eggs now, have you? They've all hatched, and you can also see where the leaf on which they are living has been eaten away. There we go. Which is quite fascinating. And of course, the Acria butterflies are toxic. And they're toxic because they sequester some kind of toxin from these leaves. Very good. I'm going to put it back now, Senzo. So you better zoom out. Good. Well done. Yes! You're exactly right, Kristen. Well done. You say, are these the same... So you've made me so happy today. You say, are these the same species of butterfly that we had on the TV show last year? That's exactly what they are, and we'd hoped fervently that they would make a cocoon and become butterflies over the 7-week series last year, and they didn't. They just stayed caterpillars for all 7 or 8 weeks. It was very depressing. Same with our tadpoles. We had the tadpoles as well, doing exactly the same thing. They were still tadpoles after 8 weeks. Thank you very much, Kristen, for remembering that. I thought it was something very exciting indeed. Albert, you wanted me to hold that leaf until they'd hatched. They had actually hatched, Albert. They've all had tiny little holes dug out the front of them, and the little caterpillars had wandered off and started sequestering toxins from the Waltheria indica plant. I'm so pleased with Kristen's question and comment there. I must say, that makes me very happy indeed. Come over here, Senzo. James, you're wondering about the wild dogs and where they've got off to. Apparently they went to the south of Little Gowrie, which is reserved to the south of us, and then again south into Mala Mala, which is even further south. They might come back, but you never know with wild dogs. These are quite special ants. Can you see these special ants, Sensor? There are many of them. If you come closer, you will be able to see them. There we are. We've got them. Yeah. Here we go. They are drop-tailed ants. So called because their tails are, altogether now, 1, 2, 3, dropped. That is correct. They look like they're facing the ground, which they are. And I'm pretty sure that they exude a nasty amount of formic acid. And Rebecca, you're saying, can I eat one? No, these are not the edible ones. The edible ones are Polyrhacus. I've eaten one and I felt so desperately bad about it that I've never done it again. So these are not them. These ones will give you a nasty bite, and they will also probably get rid of or exude a huge amount of formic acid that would probably sting. We'll just see if they do bite. I have definitely been bitten by one before. But what they're looking for here, I think, is aphids. They're looking for little aphids. And interestingly, I think that they're looking for the aphids not to eat them, but perhaps to milk them. The aphids produce a lot of kind of edible material. Now, what's interesting here is that there are some funny little aphids here. Oh, look at this. It's just flown off. There. Can you see there, Senzo? On that leaf, there's a tiny little thing about 1 millimeter across. You see it there? It's now walking down the stalk. I mean, this is seriously, seriously difficult. They're not aphids, they're thrips. They're thrips. Here's another one, here's a better one. This is seriously difficult camera work, everybody. Not made easier by me. There we go. My dirty fingernail. Been playing with clay. Sorry about that. You see the thrip there, Senzo? Now going up the leaf. Very cool. Now most of you won't have heard of a thrip unless you've been watching for about a year or so. And a thrip is a fairly uninteresting insect in this part of the world. But in many agricultural parts of the world, it's a pest. Makes huge trouble for various agricultural crops. Different kinds of thrips, lots of different kinds. That was very cool indeed. I need to find out more about these drop-tailed ants and exactly what they're looking for here. They might be looking for aphids to milk them. They may well be looking for aphids to actually eat the aphids. Right, Ralph Kirsten, who is out and about, very excited he is indeed, I'm sure, as the Masai Mara is so beautiful, has got something that we had earlier to show you.
Thanks, James. Yes, and everybody, well, we haven't found the lions, the olololos that I was looking for, but we have caught up with this tiny little baby elephant that has been walking just underneath mommy's front legs for quite a while now, and it's been fascinating to watch. Now, if you see the screen's a little bit grainy, it's because it's actually quite dark here at the minute. The sun is set, and well, there's not much light left for us, but we do have just enough to be able to see these elephants as they continue grazing here, moving up towards the forested area on the edge of the Olololo escarpment. Now, I've come up here because this is where the lions like hanging around, but the elephants like it as well because there's excellent feeding, and as I've said in previous shows, it seems that's what they do on a daily sort of mini migration from this area on the edge of the Olololo escarpment down through the grasslands and towards the swampy area next to the Mara River, and then back they come again towards the evening like they're doing now. And well, it seems like a daily cycle for them, and that's what they are just getting up to on a daily basis. But this little youngster just underneath mommy's belly there, it's been really nice to see. Looks like it's having a little bit of a scratch now as well. Now, Ali, you want to know if elephants rejoice when there's a birth of a newcomer or a new little baby? Well, Ali, I've seen a couple of elephant births. But all of them that I've seen, mommy has been a little bit isolated. She's taken herself off onto the around a thicket, or moved off a little bit on her own, almost for a bit of privacy, as well as that important time alone with the little baby when it is born. And then only rejoining the herd actually after a few days. And at that point, I have seen then it is almost like a rejoice of the elephants, because they all come around and almost like meeting the newcomer, as you would with humans when we bring a new little baby home and all the family and friends come to meet this newcomer to the world and to the group of friends and family. It's almost identical with elephants, and they all gather around and they all want to sniff and touch the little baby, and if it's stumbling around, they do generally help it up and push it along. So I think, yes, Ellie, I would say that there is a real rejoice with the newcomer, but it's not immediate. It does take a few days after that isolation period, where both the baby and the mom get to know each other's smell and sound, and just spend that a little bit of alone time for a little while before they join the group. And it's fascinating to watch how all of them come around, and a lot of touchy-feely all over the little baby, smelling it and touching it with the trunk, and it can almost seem like they're really scrumming around it, because you can hardly see the little baby when the adults all come around. So it's wonderful to watch. And you can see here what I've been saying, they're all moving up the hill, hey? All moving up towards the forested area. And I just wonder what they get up to at night. There have been some times when we've actually seen the tracks going all the way up on top of the escarpment. So I think we're going to sit here a little bit longer and see. I'm just going to keep using the binoculars and see if we can spot any of these lions. But while we do that, let's head you on back down to South Africa. And Noelle, she's on the lookout for what? Let's go and see.
The lookout for what? Well, Ralph, I'm also actually on the lookout for lions. We've picked up some lion tracks, and it looks like they've been chased around by elephants. It looks like at least one male lion, possibly two, although I'm leaning towards one. One of the Birmingham males has really small feet for a male, and they're going this block. So a block is a space without roads. It's in between rows of bush. They like this block, and it actually leads straight down towards our dam in front of camp. So, I know this block. Been through this block many a time. I am trepidatious to drive through the middle of the block without more confirmation. These tracks are not bad. I would say that they are from this morning. Possibly last night. I'm just trying to find a nice one for you if I can. But because they were chased by lions, it makes their movements... not because they were chased by lions, because the lions were chased by elephants. I'm sorry, everyone. My brain is not on a high functioning level at the moment. So I think what we'll do is we'll probably just loop. And I'm so glad to hear Scott's been doing the same. I think all of us are having... a bit of overdrive in our brains at the moment, so please excuse my lack of English. My use of my mother tongue is not in full force, nor is my grammar correct. But it happens from time to time. Yeah, my bet would be somewhere in here. I'm not picking up... What's that? Yes, these elephants were everywhere. And you got baboons. There's baboon tracks. So I think let's circle around. We'll potter around a bit. It's nice and cool. It might be a little bit early for male lions to move, but it depends on how hungry they are and what they're up to, and if those elephants are still bothering them, and sort of what kind of mood they're in. The Nkuhumas, and I believe at least one of the Birmingham males, have been up on a buffalo kill on the northern edge of Biffle's Hook. that way. And they should be finished round about now. And then of course the males will go off and then go look for other females and go look for their coalition mates and go mark territory once they're done feeding. It can't hurt. We'll bumble. It's good. And then also driving slowly like this, especially with the roads being quite hard at the moment because of the little bit of rain we got. It'll be easier to hopefully pick up some tracks, but we'll have to wait and see. Oh, Safari Wildman, thank you. Safari Wildman says, at least my humor is still intact. Thank you, sir. Yeah, you have to keep your humor intact. You can't take yourself too seriously, or what's the point? All right, now James, we'll see if his humor is still intact, or if maybe he's having a serious moment. He wants to show you something beautiful.
Well, there's no real reason for beauty to be mixed with seriousness, I don't feel. And so, no, I'm not having a serious moment. I'm certainly having a very joyful moment. As you can hear from my voice, I'm a naturally very joyful person. Aren't I, Sensor? This is making Nicola in the final control happy. This is making, I'm sure, all of you happy. And as I say very often, of course, I'm not going to repeat what Nicola said there. She said, hashtag, I will tell you, in fact, because it would be rude not to. She said, hashtag, my mum says I only take pictures of the sun. I do take a lot of pictures of the sun. Anyway, as I say to many of you, that it is my fervent wish that one day you will come out here and see an African sunset. Now, that is not to say that the sunsets in various parts of the world are magnificent. I hope one day that you'll be able to come here and watch something like this and feel the little southeast breeze tickling the back of your neck, hear the last call of the white-browed scrub robin, perhaps the first call of the Scops owl going prrp, prrp. Have the scent of the potato bush and the dry grass in your nose as you sort of pour your first snifter for the day. I'm just going to be quiet for a second. You might just be able to hear the wind in the microphone. A few francolins calling in the background you won't be able to hear, but they're there. And I know that the sound won't be fantastic where you are, but just imagine it's a gentle breeze blowing through the leaves, which always happens as the sun disappears. The smells changing from the heat of the day to the coolth of the night. And the last calls of the daytime birds as they find themselves a safe roosting spot. See, so not so very serious after all. And I have to say, I think old Senzor has done a remarkably fantastic job on camera today. Well done, Senzor. I've given you some nasty challenges. He's not even smiling at me. He's concentrating so hard. In fact, I must just do this if it's all right. I'm going to take the camera from him. And what I'm going to do is just show you his spectacular outfit. There it is. Senzor, stand away from the camera, please. You know I'm unable to focus. There we are. You can see his new hat, superb safari gear, excellent shoes. He's the smartest man in the Leopard by a country mile today. That is Sensor. Okay. Let's carry on. We're heading towards home now, as the sun has gone. Well, not quite gone. It's a bit of cloud there, so it's still got a little way to go. And I'm sure you're all having a laugh at Senzo as we do with him all day long. He's a bag of laughs. Let's go back across to Scott, see if those leopard tracks have managed to inspire him further to great findings.
Well, isn't that a fancy outfit? One of Senzo's better ones. He always dresses up quite elaborately, but I thought he was looking extra special today. So I'm very happy that James got the camera onto him. Kind of moved out of the area of those male leopard tracks. It was a bit late in the evening to start trying to actively follow them from time last night as opposed to during the day. So just keep them in the memory bank, and I'll be sure to let the rest of the crew know. And I've thought to rather just try and cover some ground, check any waterholes after what's been a fairly warm day for any sign of thirsty leopards. I'm hoping to find Joe and not Barbara. It sounds like our audio is causing trouble, so we shall send off to Noel.
Sorry about that audio trouble with Scott. It seems as if the gremlins have decided Scott also can't speak correctly today. I'm actually thinking we should maybe do a little bit of watching where I'm driving and having a feel for what it feels like right now as much as we possibly can. It's warm, there's a little bit of a breeze, it smells really nice, it's not cloudy, it's not hot anymore. It's just nice. It's relaxing. We haven't picked up on our lion tracks again, but that's okay. We've had a wonderful afternoon. And we can't do everything this afternoon. We have to save something for tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon. No, I'm kidding. We've done really, really well this afternoon. And hopefully tomorrow morning we'll continue to do well, as we always do, and tomorrow afternoon as well. I have a sneaky suspicion that if this lion is still around, he's in here, or he's moved down into the Mulwati, which is coming up just this way. We'll go have a quick little squiz. I'm assuming he hasn't popped up on the dam cam because I haven't heard anyone say anything. And everybody's usually pretty good at letting us know if something pops up on the dam cam whilst we are on game drive. It smells a little bit like rain. Okay, so here we go. Let's do it. Tomorrow, 10 o'clock Eastern. That's 10 p.m., so 2200 Eastern Time in the United States. We will be going live again for 2 hours of a fantastic show that we are putting out for you on Nat Geo Wild for 5 nights. So we had night 1, tomorrow is night 2. And while we are busy live from here in South Africa and from Kenya, we're also going to be playing Safari Bingo. Yay! I found it super fun this morning. I hope all of you enjoyed it as well. So for Safari Bingo, for any of you that haven't cottoned on to it, go to natgeo.com/safarilive and you'll get all of the little rules and regulations. And I believe that's where you register for your bingo card. And then you'll be hearing certain phrases put out there from time to time, as well as pictures that you need to do. So sometimes we are very overt and we say bingo. And sometimes we just say elephant and maybe pause. Or sometimes we just carry on talking as we normally talk. So you got to be vigilant. And hopefully one of you that watches us for a very long time will win a trip for 2 to Africa to go on your very own safari. It's very, 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 very exciting. I'm excited for whoever wins. I hope they send you to a nice place with good guides. I don't know what the prize is. I just know that you're going to be coming to Africa. And then we are going to be having shows again on the following 3 nights after tomorrow night. Our last show will be on the 8th at 10 p.m. Eastern, live in the United States. We are going to head on over, I believe, to Scotty D so that he can say good night. Oh, sorry, to Rolf. Go to Rolf.
Thanks, Noel. Well, everybody, I've just handed over to our relief crew, which is our tag team that's going to be looking for the lions through the night. Unfortunately, I failed this afternoon. I haven't been able to find the lions, but, well, that's the way it goes sometimes. But hopefully Tony, the guy that I handed over to, he's a local Maasai from the area. He's a guide that works in, I think, across the river though, but he does know the triangle pretty well, and he's going to be continuing now for the next few hours and seeing if he can also possibly find the lions, and then that will be handed over to Taylor in the morning, and at least then she's got something nice to start with. And just giving you a little bit of insight into how we're working towards the show. Everybody's taking the baton on from the person before and trying their best to get the best wildlife experiences for everybody. So that's it. I'm heading on up the Olololo escarpment and heading up for dinner. So all the best to everybody from here in the Mara. Let's head you on down south to South Africa, and James on foot.
We have just got one last view of our most common but magnificent antelope, the impala. They're walking across the clearings quite near to where we live, massively unromantically known as quarantine clearings. I really think we should find another name for that. And then there are also some wildebeest over there. Can you see them, Senzo?
Not yet.
They're those enormous black things. Yes, that's them. You have them. Well done. All of them heading onto the clearings to try and avoid being devoured by the great teeth and claws of the African night. And let us see if there's anything else we can spot around here. I don't see anything else of enormous interest. You've still got the wildebeest good, and the babies. They've done very well this. Today, remember, tomorrow, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, Nat Geo Wild for our TV show. We'll see you in the afternoon. Until then, bye-bye.